Hey VC, Dave the Pickup Artist with you today. We've got another psychedelic snack, but first we got big news in the rock world. I just learned. It looks like President Trump has threatened to quit the WHO over Chinese links. So if Trump quits the WHO, the only original members left will be Roger Daltrey and Pete Townsend. So we'll see where that goes. Was at an antique store a couple of weeks ago. Picked up some really good records. I showed them on one of my last videos. And when I was in one of these antique stores, I went for another little look around before I made sure I saw everything. And I found this. Blues Project projections, and this cover wasn't on it. I added that. It was only $1 too. I couldn't believe it. I thought, wow, there's got to be something wrong with it. This is a really cool garage psych. It's got a little bit of everything. It's a garage psych, but we veer off into a little bit of blues and a little bit of jazz. Very cool. This has got Al Cooper and Steve Katz, and this is their second album. It's on the Verb label. Cool Verb label. Now, after this album, Cooper, this guy right here, and Katz left to form Blood, Sweat, and Tears. And then, of course, Cooper went on to do the Super Sessions with Stephen Stills and Mike Bloomberg. And yeah, it's a fantastic album. The bummer is it's pretty scratchy, which is why it was only $1. And the last track on side 2 is kind of skips a little bit, so I'm still glad I picked it up, but I'm definitely looking to get an upgrade because this is a fantastic album. The other one is the first one I want to pick up too. It looks interesting, but yeah, this is good psych rock, and this has also got the first appearance of Brian Johnson before he joined AC/DC. Next I picked up the Bee Gees' first album. This is about the same. Yeah, this is the same store. This is I think it's about $5. But I wanted to get this one. This is actually their third album. They had 2 albums prior to this in '65 and '66, but they were Australian releases. '67 they came over to England and got with a guy by the name of Robert Stigwood, and they put this out. This is a really good album by the Bee Gees, Atco Triple label. It's got some very cool tracks on it. The weirdest song is Every Christian Lion-Hearted Man Will Show You. A very strange track. It's got chanting in it and a kind of a psychedelic, dark psychedelic feel. And they actually had a couple hits on here. One was called Holiday, a great song. I still hear, we used to hear that on the oldies station a lot. But yes, it's a great album. And the cover art is done by Klaus Bormann, who around the same time did the cover art for Revolver. And Klaus Bormann was also a bass player. He played bass with a bunch of British people. He also played bass for John Lennon and Yoko. Oh no. But yeah, this is worth picking up. I'm glad. I don't know if it's their most psychedelic album, but it's a very good album nonetheless. This week's CD, we've got Dick's Picks. I don't know if this series is even available on vinyl. This is a series that started in the 90s of CD collections of shows that were usually, they were put on tape first. then transferred to CD, and they came out in these packages. This is a 3 CD set from 1970, and this was recorded at the Fillmore East. The discs are made to look like tapes, and you usually get a little, let me show you the back of it, get an idea of the track listing. The first track is an introduction by Zach Earl, who then was one of those late night horror show hosts, I think local area. I think every region in the United States had a late night horror show, and they usually had their own horror show host. But this is a great track. Around this time, they were still doing kind of the same set, but they were adding newer songs that were kind of like Americana songs that would end up on their Working Man's Dead album. But yeah, you've got a Dire Wolf and Dark Star, you know, on here. Great version of Dark Star. I don't know, I'm sure that there's a version of this show on some sort of vinyl dead release. I just don't know the name of it. But yeah, this is very cool. I've got 5 of these. I have the first 4, but there's like, I don't know, there's dozens of them. If you could find them, I don't even know if you can find them on CD anymore, but booklet's kind of cool. It's got a little bit of information. The band on stage at Fillmore East. And some, you know, information on the show. And of course, the outside of Fillmore East. Yeah, Dick's Picks 4. February 13th, 1970. The great show. Last but not least, we've got Stoned Age Man by Joseph. We don't know a lot about Joseph. He was the guy for Skeptor Records. That's the label. Apparently was in a bar in Texas where they were having a kind of a guitar battle of the bands between B.B. King, T-Bone Walker, and this guy named Joseph Long, who's, I believe, this guy. And apparently he carried his guitar like a caveman, so that's kind of why they use that cover, I think. Now, there's a cool sticker on here that kind of gives you a little bit of indication what it's about. Initially, you think this is going to be like a blues rock, and it kind of is, but then it'll veer off into a psychedelic direction. Very cool stuff. A nice track on here is the second track, I Ain't Fattening No More Frogs for Snakes. And I'm sure we can all relate to that. Well, he also does a cover of House of the Rising Sun. Yeah, that's very cool. A great guitar player. It's kind of like, this guy's kind of like Randy Holden. He didn't really have that many albums out. But there's not a lot of information about this guy. I got online, and most of the stuff I know about it is right from the brief liner notes they have on here. But yeah, if you're looking for good, heavy, hard rock, psych, craziness, crazy kind of vocals, you'll like this. Definitely worth picking up. And that's about all I've got. Hope everybody's having a good week, and stay safe. And I'll see you again real soon.